Where are you going for your holidays this year? Have you decided?
Yes, we're going to Corsica.
Oh, I know Corsica well. I spent a year there.
Really? What's it like?
It's very beautiful. It's got everything. Mountains, beaches, and good weather.
And what are the people like?
They're quite independent, but when you get to know them, they're very friendly. You'll have a really good time.
Anna, what was your first boyfriend like?
Goodness, why do you want to know that?
I'm just interested.
Well, he was very good-looking, with dark hair and big brown eyes. He was very romantic. He was always buying me flowers and presents. Of course, he wasn't as nice as you.
Help me, somebody, please! Oh, policeman! Stop that man! He stole my handbag!
I think it's too late, madam.
But...
He's escaped. Now tell me.
Yes.
What did he look like?
Well, he was medium height and, quite, well built, and he had short, dark hair. Oh, I know. He looked like that actor man, that, you know, David Starr. Well, yes, he did, but he was taller than that.
Tape script 14. Match the answers and questions. 1.
She's very nice, actually. You'd really like her. She's the kind of person you can always go to with a problem.
2.
She's not too good. Still got a temperature and a cough that she can't shake off.
3.
Her greatest passion is horse riding. She lives for horses from morning till night.
4.
I can't stand her. She's everything I don't like in a woman. She's bossy, she's superior, and she thinks she can do everything better than other people.
5.
Very plain. Long, straight hair, high forehead, and prominent cheekbones.
6.
She's fine. Very happy since she met Bernard, and she seems to be very well, too.
7.
A bit like you, actually. Same build, same height, and similar colour eyes.
8. She's quite good-looking. The kind of girl you go for. But she's a bit too serious for me. You know, politics, literature, human rights, things like that. 9.
Gardening, cooking, and sailing in that order.
10.
The doctors say she'll be in hospital for at least another week.
Who are these people describing? 1.
She's absolutely adorable. I think she's very pretty. She makes me laugh a lot. She tells terrible jokes, but I like the way she tells them. She's a bit naughty sometimes, and I curse her when she gets me up at 6 in the morning, but when I hear her singing in the morning, well, all's forgiven. She can twist me round her little finger, of course.
2.
He was very boring and predictable. The kind of person who remembered birthdays and anniversaries, but who made you angry because there was absolutely nothing spontaneous about him. His ideas of fun were so unadventurous. Well, the first few years were okay, but after that I just had enough. Reliable, stable, dependable, and boring.
3.
Well, he's quite well dressed and punctual. Sometimes he's cheerful, and he tells us jokes, but other times we have to do a lot of work. We don't really know him very well. Oh, I know he's married, but I've never met him socially or anything like that. He seems very professional.
4.
I've never actually spoken to him. I see him every day, of course, as he leaves his car and gets into the lift to his office on the top floor. He's always terribly well-dressed, and he must wear expensive aftershave because you can still smell it 10 minutes after he's gone.
Warning. When I am an old woman, I shall wear purple, with a red hat which doesn't go and doesn't suit me, and I shall spend my pension on brandy and summer gloves and satin sandals, and say we've no money for butter. I shall sit down on the pavement when I'm tired, and gobble up samples in shops, and press alarm bells, and run my stick along the public railings, and make up for the sobriety of my youth. I shall go out in my slippers in the rain, and pick the flowers in other people's gardens, and learn to spit You can wear terrible shirts and grow more fat and eat 3 pounds of sausages at a go, or only bread and pickle for a week, and hoard pens and pencils and beer mats and things in boxes. But now we must have clothes that keep us dry, and pay our rent, and not swear in the street, and set a good example for the children. We will have friends to dinner, and read the papers. But maybe I ought to practice a little now, so people who know me are not too shocked and surprised when suddenly I am old and start to wear purple.
America as seen by Britons. Bob and Sheila spent 2 years living in New York because of Bob's work as a banker. Neither of them had lived in a big city before. They now live back in England in a small village outside London.
How long did you live in the States?
Well, we were there for 2.5 years in New York.
And did you enjoy it?
Oh, tremendously. We had a wonderful time.
Yes, what I liked best was that I could work and still lead a normal life. I mean, the shops are open until 10 o'clock.
All shops?
Yes, everything. Food shops, chemists.
There's a huge department store called Gimbel's on 86th Street that was open till 9 o'clock.
And some supermarkets are open 24 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
Most shops don't open as early as in England. Well, they don't open till about, 10 or 11 in the morning.
Yes, that's right.
Because they all work much later. And everything's open on Sundays.
And the holidays, the public holidays, are much shorter than here. And in the States, only the banks are shut. Everything else stays open, so it makes life much easier. You could do what you liked when you liked.
And it was easier with the children, because I could wait till you got back, and we did the shopping together, didn't we?
Yes.
I see. Do you think New York is as cosmopolitan as London?
Oh, yes. But, well, it's not as mixed. Nationalities stay in their own areas. Like there's the Ukrainian section, the Russian section.
Yeah, the German section. We were in Germantown, Yorktown, which is called Germantown. And there was a row of German shops, all German-speaking.
Yes.
But you didn't find that anywhere else. And the Ukrainians were down on 14th and 2nd, and the Spanish kept a Spanish Harlem.
I think the major difference was the height of the place. Everything was up. We lived on the 29th floor.
And I worked on the 63rd floor.
Oh, but I like heights. And, of course, everything's faster. And the people are much ruder.
Which means, of course, that we're much ruder ourselves now we're back in Britain.
Oh, in what ways?
Well, pushing in the street, fights about getting on the bus. No good old British queues.
But are all Americans like that?
Oh, yes. Well, all New Yorkers, anyway. Not so much in other places. When we went to California, it was very different. There weren't the same pressures at all, were there?
Yeah, I think we were aware that New York is quite a dangerous place. Well, we never had any problems at all, but when there was a crime, it was horrendous.
Oh, yes, the subways are unusable. They're dirty, uncomfortable.
Did you make many friends?
Well, that's what's interesting, really. We made more friends there than we have after 2 years of living here. I think Americans are more open. They speak their minds, so if they don't like something, they actually tell you directly. Not like the British, who might think one thing and say another. So I suppose you could say that the English are ruder than the Americans.
Or that they're less honest.
Yes.
Oh, something else. We're actually moving from here back into London to try to find the things we liked in New York. But I don't suppose we'll find them.
England as seen by Americans. Terry Tomshire talks about her experience of living and working in England, where she has been for the past 11 years.
So, Terry, you've been in this country for quite a long time now. What differences do you notice between the two countries?
Obviously, the biggest difference is the people. The average Englishman is cold and not very open.
Oh.
In the States, it's very different. We start conversations with people in the street, in the subway. We're a lot more enthusiastic and spontaneous than people here. You know, when I first came, I couldn't understand why I was getting so little reaction from people. But now I see that they thought I was overpowering and that I was trying to be too friendly too soon.
But tell me, does the Englishman improve as you get to know him?
Oh, yes.
Oh, good.
Once you have made a friend, it's a friend for life, but it takes a very long time. I'll tell you something that I think is very important. An Englishman in America is respected. Everyone wants to talk to him. We're inquisitive. We love his accent in his country. An American, though, in England, is thought to be a little inferior because of his behavior and his language. One thing I've learned, it's funny now, but it wasn't at the time. I couldn't understand why, when I was talking to someone, he would move away, move backwards. And I thought, do I smell? Am I boring him? The reason was, you see, Americans stand closer when they're talking. Again, English people like a certain distance.
That's true. What about your impressions of living here? How does that compare with the States?
Well, I think life's a lot easier in the States. It's easier to make money, and it's easier to spend it. Shops are open all the time over there. Here, you've got a race to reach the supermarket by 5:30. Generally, I find life more inefficient here. If you need an electrician, it takes days to get one. He doesn't do the job very well. The system is so old that he can't get the parts to repair it, and he doesn't care. This leads to another very important point. Americans work a lot harder than you do. To the English, their private lives are important, their holidays are important, their gardens are important, their animals are important. But an American wouldn't admit that. For us, our work is the most important thing in our lives. Holidays seem to be longer here. People make the most ridiculous excuses not to go to work. My dog's got a cold, I heard the other day.
Come on.
You have tea breaks that get longer and longer. In that respect, we're quite like the Japanese. Our jobs come first. But there are all sorts of services to make life easier around our jobs.
Well, I take it you have a pretty negative opinion of England.
You would think so from this interview, wouldn't you?
Yes.
No, in fact, I really love it here. I go home once a year and really look forward to coming back here. This is my home now. I find life safer, more relaxed, and much more enjoyable. Maybe I've gotten into English habits. England doesn't have the dramatic beauty of the States, but it is very pretty and